Do you know what is the greatest paradox of our industry? For me, events are the purest form of ephemeral arts. Beautiful, important, intense, but they chiefly disappear. But their legacy can last forever. Think about this. 70,000 years ago, humans start to gather around a fire. Those moments were so important because they were sharing experiences. We were talking about the food, we were talking about our ancestors, the present and the future. All those moments were the first events of the history. And you know what is really extraordinary? Till today, nothing has really changed. Actually, something from outside for sure, but the reason why we meet is still the same. And from that fire in the savannah, we passed through the Romans with the Colosseum, through the Silk Road, and arriving till today, the Olympics and all the events and exhibitions that we experience every day. The interesting thing is that if at the beginning the main reason to meet was to survive and allowed us to make an evolution as a species, today maybe it's not only about survive, but it's for sure to make an evolution of our species. In this video, I would like to do a journey from the very past and the beginning of the event industry to today and try to understand also the impact of tomorrow, because I firmly believe that the only way to understand where we are and where we are going in understanding the history and the evolution of our industry. I'm Enrico Gallorini. I am a CEO of a research company called GRS that is specialized in in-person experiences, and this video tries to summarize what was explain and express in my last TEDx about the secret ingredients of in-person experiences. And big part of this content are coming from the book In Person that I wrote a few years ago, and I still think that is very valid and present to understand better the journey and the evolution of the event industry. In the comment below, you can find both the link for the TEDx and eventually if you want to buy the book on Amazon. Let's begin. Fire as the first event. Picture this. Try to go back in the savannah 70,000 years ago. Humans gathered together for one simple reason. Human needs to survive. And the best way, what the historians say that is the secret power of humanity, it's sharing stories. So events became from the first and the beginning of its journey, the place where people gathered together to express through stories, through a language, through a vocabulary, how to survive. The nature didn't give us anything to attack and nothing really to defend. So our superpower, it's our mind, and our mind was able to create our vocabulary, our language, and through those vocabulary and language, we were able to create what we call today storytelling. And that fire was not only to keep us warm outside, but was a moment in which we can get warmer inside. Because through the stories, we share the experiences about animals, about family, how to take care about kids, which are the food that are good and for what. But also we start to create mythology and everything that is related about dreams, fear, but also especially hope. Those central elements are still very similar of what we are today as human, and the importance of the sense of belonging in something that is bigger than us. That is exactly what is happening in every single event. In those ancient moments that the historians say at the beginning was this cognitive revolution, humans start to use their brain in a different way. We start to use not only input, but we create more important elements to share with other of our community. And that element of creating communities and sharing stories became very, very important. It was not just about there is a lion behind the hill. No, it was tomorrow the moon would be bigger and in few days there will be the solstice, so the sun would be at the apex. We start to create stories and believe about some spiritual connection. Tomorrow is the most important day of the year because the sun is at its lowest point, but it will go up again. So there is a hope, there is a knowledge, there is something that creates a sense of community that is bigger and based on something deeper than just escaping or catching food. This ability of creating stories create the real superpower. The humans are the only animal that is able to collaborate even with thousands of people, even if he doesn't know them and they do not belong to the same family, neither the same tribe. That's the trigger point that changed everything. But how it happens? Simply through events and the rituality that every event is able to create. Events became so fundamental because everybody knew that at that specific day of the year, connected to the moon cycle and so on, they can gather together. And those rituals were not just a way to exchange story. It became something more important. It became the evolutionary tool of our species. Events is not about entertainment. Events is about transformative. Event is about evolutionary. Event is about the deepest and most important thing for any species. Become better and better. Fast forward in time, let's meet again 12,000 years ago. Something revolutionary happens. Agriculture. Wow! That's the big change for humanity. Humans pass from a nomadic experience to a settled one. Everything changed. Those rituals became formal in specific places that maybe today we could call venues, but those places became the epicenter of the human evolution. And think about the ancient civilization, Mesopotamian, Greeks, Romans. Events were not something that happened. They were the base of the social fabric of those evolutionary experiences. An example is Akitu festival in Mesopotamia. 12 days of huge gathering where the king have a new and renewed connection with God. It was not just a celebration. It was propaganda. It was social cohesion. It was spiritual renewal. All in the same time and in the same space. Or think about the Opet festival in Egypt. That was massive. It was a new completely way of thinking the power of the pharaohs. And was there that we really understand that event became something evolutionary more important. Procession, music, offering, all was at the base of the most important thing for that moment. Reinforce authority and unite people, all under a great and important vision coming from the leadership. So even 4,000 years ago, the pillars of the event are the same that we have today. People gather in the same place, in the same moment, belonging to the same community. And it's those rituals that create that sense of be part of something bigger, the sense of belonging. And it's that feeling that create loyalty. And loyalty is at the base of trust on creating a bigger and better community together. Moving closer to us, think about the Olympic Games. It was for sure about sport, but actually was something bigger. It was not about competition between athletes. They were a religion gathering where the most important thing was the cohesion. During those games, Greek different cities that were always fighting each other, they create the sacred peace. Events were creating peace of huge conflict in any moment in the history. And it's with the Romans that this event became really spectacular. a lot of shows, entertainment, something about passion and fear, gladiator games, naval shows, everything related something that was very important, create spectacle. But again, it was not for the purpose of entertainment. It was panem et circenses, bread and circus. The Roman emperor understood something very, very important and clear. If you want to control masses, and Rome in that period was a huge city, you have to make the people happy and distracted. So events became the best tools for political propaganda. The more grandiose was the spectacle and the more love it was for the emperor. And it worked. Now let's move to the Silk Road. It's only in that moment, in the recent years, centuries ago, that it started to become also the commerce and the exchange part of those events. Merchants from everywhere in the world knew that they can meet in specific cities in specific time of the year to connect, exchange, trade, and create value. So those were the ancestors of the actual trade shows, but also in that moment was not only about exchange and commerce. It was bigger. It was the tool to make human evolution. Exchange product means exchange ideas and learn step by step how to empower and increase society. Those human gatherings were the place where the people exchange knowledge and product that changed the world on what it is today. In the same period in the Middle Age, with the exchange and the possibility of travel around, another important element became part of this event's journey. The pilgrimage, those sacred places like Jerusalem, Santiago de Compostela, Rome itself, became the place where the people gather for something bigger. Different nationalities, different things that all together, Spanish, German, and whatever you want, walks for weeks together. And in those pilgrimage, they exchange ideas, thought, philosophy, and other big important things. Same for the famous tournaments. They were not just a moment to play or to fight. It was a moment in which humanity started to create different classes and status. In those events, in those gatherings, it was established again a sort of different layer of society, reinforcing the social order, the role of nobility, and again the sense of belonging. And I want to reinforce this element. Events are where the people start to evolve. And thanks to all this exchange, understanding the power of storytelling and exchange ideas became the Renaissance. In that period, the intellectual thoughts were born. In those periods, artists, scientific, thought leaders come together in a specific place and time to share their ideas. Those moments were the ancestor of the actual symposium and conferences, and it's thanks to those moments that there was the actual and most important industry revolution. And it's thanks to those moments that it became step by step the journey to the most important industrial revolution. Everything changed again. The steam engine, the railways, the telegraph. Suddenly it was possible to move thousands of people because of this large gathering. And in that moment was born probably the most important event in the history that changed everything, the World Exhibition. In 1851, in London Crystal Palace, 6 million people were able to connect and see where the world was in that moment, in technology, in philosophy, in art, in everything related about the human evolution. That was the first time that event became open, not only to rich people or noble, no, to the masses. This is what we have today. That's the legacy that we divided in every single niche of the event industry. Conferences, exhibition, concert, trade shows, All of this is just the legacy of this long, important journey of the human evolution through events. In the 20th century, events really explode. They became the global platform for knowledge, for trade, and also for messages. Olympics became the example of international collaborations. Trade fairs became the epicenter of the global evolution in trade and innovation. And large human gathering became the fabric, the base also of the cultural revolution. Social event like Woodstock changed everything. Events became the place also for social rights. The March on Washington in 1963, where Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I have a dream." They were not just events. They were moments where the evolution of our species became a huge step forward. And with the event of mass media and then internet, event became even more global, important, and shared among everyone. And here we enter in the paradox. In this moment where we live, where we have everything, all the possible contents, we are alone. We feel lost. We spend the most of our time scrolling down a screen in order to find a sense of fulfillment of something that we don't have anymore. The historians already call this moment hyper-isolation era. We use social network and we have never been so disconnected by the others. For this reason, live events, in-person experiences will become even more important in the future, because as 70,000 years ago, it was not just about the storytelling, using one sense, hearing it, speaking. No, all the moment where we gather together, we are full ourselves, our body, mind, and soul. And when we connect in person, the power, our energy, our force, our passion, our enthusiasm change and shape the reality. We grow as human, personally, professionally, as a family, in this moment of in-person experiences. We are much more than what we see and what we feel. And all of us, for example, in a concert or a Sunday in a church or Friday in a mosque, we feel that together we belong to something bigger, where everybody sings the same song. Wow, we understand we are just much more than ourselves. That's the power of human live events. Those moments where community gather together, they co-create value. They change the reality, and this make humanity grow. Let's go back again. Events from the beginning, events today, and events tomorrow are the place where we create trust. And the trust is not just about watching, hearing, and taking a look. No, it's all the things related. When we trust a person, it's because we connect much more over than what we feel. To create trust, there is much more than just shaking a hands or speaking one to the other. No, it's everything related to ourselves. So technology will change, but those important moments where humans connect soul by soul, body by body, it's more than what we think. So we just do not organize events. We are the base, we are the fabric of the human evolution. Those moments are so important. They were in the past and they will be even more important in the future, because we see it will become even more difficult to travel, to move around, to find the time to connect. The real value is the presence, being in that moment the full of us. This is why I love so much the live and in-person experiences. This is why I really think that event organizers is not just a job. It's keeping the tradition of the human evolution. Our role is much more important than what we think and what the people think, because it's thanks to what we deliver that we are what we are today. It's thanks of what we do as an industry that the human will evolve more and better in the future, and where we are going in the future. So This is a very important point, and we will discover together also in the next video. I will try to go deeper in the possible evolution. For now, if you like this content, please follow the channel and make a like in the video.